everyone, it's Libby from Maighstir Tarot. I'd like to acknowledge the Worimi First Nations people. It's W-O-R-I-M-I, and welcome to you, your guides, my guides, and the universal energies. Okay, absolute pleasure to have you here today, and it is just me and the furs. Snoozing. Yes, he is breathing. He's absolutely loving life. That's Spot. Okay, so if you hear my guides, let me know. And just very quickly, entertainment only for the senses out there. And lots of allegedlys and all the rest of it. I'm just going to put it out there. If you see any comments about selling books or recommending books or anything, just ignore them. They are spam. Every channel's getting hammered with them. I go through every evening and heart all the comments, and they get reported and removed, so just ignore those. Also, I just want to say, if this channel isn't for you, don't watch it. So I'm, don't worry about having a rant at me about something. If it's not the channel for you, I've got no issues with that whatsoever. Okay, what I want to have a look at, and oh gosh, full moon last night. I didn't stay up for the eclipse moon, but I photographed the moon above the clouds at about 11 p.m. last night, because I think the eclipse was about 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock in the morning for us. And boy, oh boy, was it a bright moon. It looked almost like daylight above the clouds there, and it was incredibly bright. The photograph I took was just on my camera phone. It's in the post section, and I didn't do any light enhancement at all. That is the photo in its natural form. So beautiful, beautiful full moon, which also does mean pretty exhausted. A lot of us went to bed last night putting forward, the intentions of the new, to let go of the old, and to bring in the new. And it was just amazing energies. And I must admit, I did wake up really invigorated this morning until I started looking at the news. So I'm just going to put it out there. Feel free not to look at the news. Okay, I've got a few things that I actually do want to have a look at, but I might start with a really positive reading, because why not? Why not? And that means you can get this reading out of the way, and if you then want to go on to the other readings, then all well and good. But if you decide, nah, I'm going to have a lovely evening, day, night, whatever it is, then yeah, go for it. So what I really want to have a look at is that with the full moon, I got up actually, this is why I took the photograph of the full moon, because I had gotten up out of bed. And I just wanted to, I've literally wrote down what to look for going forward. Now, yes, we are going through some challenging times at the moment. I won't say they're the worst of times. Goodness me, you only have to read your history to know that there has been significantly worse. But we're going through really challenging times on a worldwide basis at the moment. Including things like, when I say challenging, the Hyundai plant in Georgia got raided, I believe yesterday or the day before. 400 and something people were detained. 300 of them were South Koreans who were there on visas, legitimately working in the Hyundai factory, and I gather they were there with a joint venture with, what did I write down? With LG Energy. So a US country, they were there as part of a joint venture with LG Energy to produce batteries. So what's happening is the South Korean government had said, yeah, okay, whatever, and they're sending a charter plane over to bring those 300 South Koreans back home, and they've said they're going to try and work out, something to do with the visa system, because, as I said, these people were over here on visas, but they're being deported back to South Korea. So this is the energy we're in at the moment. It's a really nonsensical energy. What I wrote down is they're jinking and zigzagging from the regime at the moment, as they are becoming more and more desperate, and just know that it is going to get really desperate. I mean, we're talking troops in Chicago, etc. I'm going to have a look at that separately. But just know that the orange twerp was merely the catalyst. He's not the one that's brought the US to the situation it is. He's literally just the one that's blowing the top off it. Because what's been brewing in the US has been brewing since the Reagan era. Reagan and Thatcher have an awful lot to answer for. They were very much about busting unions. They were the ones that basically had forced companies to send their workforce overseas, killed the manufacturing in both the UK and the US. So these are, Republicans, conservatives that actually killed off the manufacturing era. Basically killed off the manufacturing in replacement so that you can buy your t-shirt from overseas for $2.50. Reagan has a lot to answer for. I know a lot still idolise Reagan, but he also destroyed the healthcare system, the mental health system, a lot of issues with social security. So basically anything that was for the people was undermined by Reagan and Thatcher, or the starts of. So what has happened since then is the US and the world have had opportunities presented to them to course correct. And the two major ones in the most recent times was the global financial crisis and then the COVID pandemic. And now I'm going to get pinged for saying the C word. Okay, whatever. I'm just going to say during the global financial crisis, there was an opportunity, and I know that was under Obama, to course correct then for the people. But what happened is that under pressure, the government of the day course corrected for the corporations, the big money. And this was the start of the really big money, basically bailing out the corporations, the banks, etc. Instead of bailing out the people, the money went to the big corporations. And the same happened during the pandemic, is that the majority of the money went to the suppliers, supposedly, again, the big corporations, again, shifting the money from the people upwards. So what's happened is those were the two big opportunities in recent decades to course correct, and it didn't happen. So what's happened now is that the orange twerp, he is the catalyst for what is the Mack truck moment. We've had the feather moment up the side of the head, tickle, tickle, wake up. We've had the brick moment, come on, get sorted. We're at the Mack truck moment, where basically there is this lesson to be learnt, and we have no choice but to learn it. It's not like, okay, what I'm going to say is we don't have the option of not learning the lesson. The lesson will be learnt. And a lot of you say, when is this going to be over? And I'm going to say it's going to be over when the lesson is learnt. It's just about impossible to put a timeline on because it's dependent on the masses of people. So what's happened though, however, is that those that are behind Project 2025, we're in this sort of condensed timeline at the moment, which is why the energy is so intense. Those that are behind the curtain in Project 2025, and they haven't all been revealed as of yet, but some of them have, again, via the orange twerp. He is the catalyst of all that has been stewing, all that has been brewing. And he is the catalyst to undo what has been stewing and brewing. So those behind the curtain, Project 2025. I had the wrong side of the midterms when I was talking the other day about when they wanted to put Vance in, Shady Vance. If the changeover of the presidency is after the midterms, then the vice president that steps into the presidency can then have another 2 terms. So if Biden had stepped down and handed over to Harris when things started in 2024, Harris could have done the Biden term, and then she could have potentially, I'm not saying it would have happened, but she could have had another 2 terms on top of that. So basically, if the orange twerp stepped aside for Vance after the midterms, so we would be looking at January 2026. No, 27, sorry, my bad. Put my maths in. Shady could have, if they fiddled the elections for that one and then the next 2, 4, whatever it is, Shady could have had 10 years as president. But what's happened is that the orange twerp's health is overtaking him. I did post on my post page, I said look at the first 90 seconds or even 20 seconds where the jacket fell open at that supposed live not live presser, and I can't work out whether it's just a AI glitch or quite what's going on. I feel there was an AI glitch there is what I'm getting, and then when the AI cleared up, you could see a box below underneath the shirt on the orange twerp. Now, I did say the other day LVAP or similar. I don't know my medical devices, so that's why I said or similar. But there was then a box visible there. So the reason why I say an AI glitch is instead of just having the inside lining of the jacket, the fabric of the shirt was stretched across and then settled back down again. Just putting that out there. So what's happening is the orange twerp is unraveling quicker than January 2027. They thought they would have this length of time, but they don't. So that's why they're shoving everything through a lot quicker, and that's why it's more intense, and that's why it's causing more outrage, because what their intention was to just have us citizens sitting in this pot of lukewarm water and then slowly turn the heat up so that we go, oh, it's getting a bit warmer, oh, that's nice, and this acceptance of what they're trying to push through. But because the orange twerp is failing quicker than what they expected, they've whacked the heat up onto boiling and slammed the lid on. Now, the frogs ain't happy in that pot, and they are trying to blow the lid off, which is what we're going through at the moment. Sorry about this long waffle. I hope you're coming along with me on the ride. However, this weekend, being an eclipse, full moon eclipse weekend, was just incredibly grounding and incredibly reaffirming. So there was so much to be grateful for. We had Father's Day yesterday. My partner, my husband, his kids, who were all dispersed, rang or texted him and wished him happy Father's Day from wherever they happened to be in the world. I did offer him, let's go out to lunch, and he's like, no, I'll just have make me a toasted sandwich, so a ham, cheese, tomato and rocket toasted sandwich on brown bread and a beer out on the front veranda overlooking the garden, the fur babies at our feet. And that's really, it was just lovely. I had gone for a long walk. The weather's glorious. Yes, we're into spring now. I'd gone for a long walk and the sea spray on my face. It was just very grounding and very much about so much to be grateful for. And the fact that our lives are full. We don't necessarily seek. I mean, we do but we don't necessarily seek what is unattainable to fulfill our lives. And which was really interesting, because those, as you watch them, those, especially those at the tech dinner And yeah, again, I posted on my post section, Zuckerberg was hot mic'd, pulling a figure out of his backside and then leaning over to the orange twerp saying, "Oh, did you like that figure?" In other words, it was the biggest BS. What did he say? $60 billion worth of investment in tech and AI by 2028. In other words, it was a BS figure. There was nothing behind it. And he just said that figure because it sounded good, and then got hot mic'd checking with the orange twerp that it sounded good, didn't it? Oh, goodness me, Zuckerberg is limper than a wilted lettuce leaf, that guy. So yeah, and what's really noticeable is these particular uber wealthy, and I'm just talking about this because, just as a comparison, my life is full. My life is fulfilled. I do this because what I'm doing now is because my guides basically gave me no choice, and I find it incredibly fulfilling without any reward. Yeah, the ads give me a little bit of an income and say, yeah, well done. More than enough. You'll notice I don't have donation button. I don't do mid-rolls, ads or anything like that. I took the hype off because it was irritating. I do this because it's incredibly fulfilling. My life is really fulfilled. Those that are seeking this extra money is they are not fulfilled within. They have lack within and they're trying to fill it from external means. You can never fill the void within you with external means. It doesn't matter whether you have a gold toilet or a white porcelain toilet. If your life is not fulfilled, the gold toilet will make no difference. The luxury yachts, the I can buy anything, the bank account with however many billions in it, it means nothing if you don't have within what you find satisfying for you. And whether that's a little plot out in the bush somewhere where you can grow your own veggies and feed the wallabies and kangaroos, whatever it is, if you don't have it within, your life is never fulfilled. And that's what's happening with these mega tech bros. There were some there that didn't belong, and I'm just going to say that. There were some there that didn't belong. And so they're always externally looking for gratification. So just know that you are a better person than they are. You have more joy in your life than they do, and more light and love than they do, because you have it within. Okay, that being said, I'm going to throw some cards about what to look for going forward. Now, these are my cards. They were for sale on Etsy until I suspended the shop. I'm just going to say because the Australian postal system can't work out what the heck's going on with the tariffs, because they're on, they're off, they're on, they're off, they're up, they're this amount, they're that amount. Yeah. So Australia is one of more than 35 countries that have just said, it's just too hard, we're not shipping to the US. And as I split the deck, the two cards that we get, family. Now remember that family is not necessarily blood. The blood of the covenant, in other words, who you choose to be your family, is more powerful than the water of the womb and the freedom. You and I have more sense of freedom than these people that are trying to seek to fill the void within with external means. So going forward, what do I want to have a look at? The last time I used these cards, they said there would be a significant event on a public holiday, around the eclipse moon. Well, that was I believe, the 1st of September. That was when the orange twerp was missing in action. Significant event, very much. But I think the cards also said we won't necessarily hear about it at the time, if I cast my mind back correctly. So what do we need to know? Looking forward. Ooh, okay, cards throwing itself out. What do we need to look for going forward? Basically, to know that we're approaching the rebuilding stage. And the first card that flew out was this one. And I said right at the beginning of this video, jinking and zigzagging. It's not an A to B. It's a convoluted path that we are on. I'm going to say it can go in any direction in between, but there is a start point and there is an end point. It's just where it goes in between is this sort of energy. So a convoluted path that we are on. But know that there is this end. There is this bigger picture end. Okay, come on down and let's have a look. And yes, sleeping dogs, aren't they gorgeous? Okay. Yeah, okay, I'll leave his head in the shot because why not? That's exactly where the camera needs to be. So we are on this convoluted path. I have been deja vuing and glitching for the last couple of weeks now because the path is not set. And I'm going to repeat that. This episode that we are going through, the tearing down, and I keep getting it has to be completely torn down. And when I'm talking about torn down, I'm talking about the structures that we took for granted. Now, someone this morning made a comment about, well, California and Oregon, etc., can't secede from the US because it's in the Constitution. Well, the Constitution is not being followed by this regime anyhow. It's pretty much being used as toilet paper. Because in the Constitution, tariffs are supposed to go through Congress. Changing of department names is supposed to go through Congress. There's all this stuff where the Constitution has been completely disregarded as it is. So what we're looking at is everything being torn down so that it can no longer be patched. I keep getting that the Constitution is going to be rewritten. I keep getting that the White House is going to be turned into a museum, and that there is going to be this interim government period. I've been getting that I actually got that 12 months or more ago, that there would be an interim government, and I just simply thought it would be, before Harris stepped in, because there would be all this carry on from the Republicans. I didn't see again which way it was going to go. That was the skin being side of me getting in the way, but I still stand by the fact of this interim government. So basically, the health system, the social security system, the infrastructure system, the energy system, this, I'm not physically torn down, but the underlying governmental, departmental structure of it torn down so it can be rewritten. And I have said for a while, I don't remember saying this, but one of you lovely viewers reminded me of it, that you will all be issued with a new social security number down the track as they rebuild the systems. So just know that this is over when the lesson of government decisions being for the people, not for the wealthy and the corporations, being learnt, the systems torn down that support the corporations, and it comes back to governance for the people, is what I'm getting, is that lesson learnt. perfect example being the orange twerp, with the deportations. Well, who's making the money out of these prison camps? Who's making the money out of these deportations? It's the uber wealthy. Okay, come on down. Let's have a look. This is very much about a lesson being learned. Great protests over the weekend, by the way. So convoluted. Every single one of you is a drop in the ocean. The entire ocean on this planet, and 2/3 of the planet is ocean. Actually, more than 2/3. It is made up of drops, droplets of water. So it's a convoluted journey, and it is about all these drops coming together to form a whole. What's happening in the world at the moment is these falling dictators, these oligarchs, whatever you like to call them, are desperate to cause division. And up until, I would say, 4 months ago, they were successful in causing division. But what's happened is there's been this shift to unity, the protests coming together, the MAGAs waking up in the US, slowly happening in the UK, working out that perhaps Brexit wasn't the best thing after all. Every single drop adding to this ocean. We've got the money here, the noise about the money. There is, I'm going to say, okay, there is outcry about the money that's involved. If you can hear that, that's Spotty there snoring away. We've got the fate, destiny, karma. Today, now is very much about the choice to take our fate and destiny into our own hands, as there's growing noise about who's profiting. So fate, destiny, karma plus loss. Financial loss. There were some really big meetings of farmers in, I think Missouri was one of them. I can't think about where the other one was. Huge meetings about farmers that are literally going to the wall and demanding that the federal government bail them out. Not a red hat amongst them. They left their red hats at home. And these are red to the core areas with the voting. You can bet pounds to peanuts that these farmers voted for the orange twerp, thinking he would look after them, and they've had a big wake up. The photographs of these huge town hall meetings, not a red hat, not a Trump supporter, or outwardly admitting Trump supporter amongst them. So what we've got here is we're on this convoluted path. Every moment that happens, okay, I'm getting that this is every moment that happens that is rewarding the big moneyed, is creating a lot of noise, getting a lot of outrage, getting a lot of pushback. It's about claiming back our destiny because of the poverty that is increasing, the loss that is increasing. Who's these 400 plus jobs in this Hyundai plant? Who's going to take those jobs? They are skilled jobs. Someone who had been working in real retail or farming or something doesn't have the ability to do these jobs. Okay, so we've got here the loss and poverty is increasing. So what do we need to look out for going forward? The strength of the wealthy, uber wealthy, and their king, we know who that is being exposed. There's a light being shone on The king and his wealthy compatriots, the strength of them. The light is being shone on it. And the greed. Light is being shone on the greed. So their strength is now being seen as pure greed. Yes. Yep. The cards agree. Yep. That's what it's all about. So you've now got the minus and the small. Okay, what's this minus and small? They've been seen as small because here is the masses, the people. This could also be their disregard for the masses and the people, cutting them out because they're seen as small. Well, no, they're not. They are the masses. On the international stage, families coming together, demanding peace. Now, there was a protest in Jerusalem. 15,000 people protested in Jerusalem overnight, calling for an end of the conflict. Now, they were wanting a ceasefire so that what they were sort of calling for was a ceasefire so that Israeli hostages can be negotiated to be returned. At the end of the day, I don't know that they're even still alive. But the energy is demanding a ceasefire on the international stage. And in the UK, apparently the protests were only about 1,500. It was really hard to find a figure because there was no reporting on the size of the pro-Palestinian or the anti-genocide rallies. I won't call them pro-Palestinian. They were the anti-genocide rallies in London. Nearly 900 people were arrested. Religious leaders, priests, fathers, as in religious fathers. These weren't crazy religious leaders. These was, salt of the earth, Western religious leaders. Veterans were arrested. Holocaust survivors were arrested. Grandmas were arrested. You name it. Nearly 900 were arrested in London. There are peace protests, and I'm feeling that the protests are actually going to get bigger as the masses on the international stage speak out. There is a lot of hard work that needs to be done, but have faith. Have faith that it will be okay. We need to leap over this crevasse of despair that threatens to drag us down and know that we have stable ground on the other side. It may feel foreign and alien for us to do so. What have we got? Documents and contracts are going to be stopped. So this also might mean overturning of some international contracts. I'm going to have a look on Japan again later today in another reading, because the Japanese Prime Minister that is allegedly negotiated the tariffs with the US, has resigned. It's not been signed in as of yet, but he's now resigned as the Prime Minister. So there might be some international overturning of contracts and agreements being stopped. Watch for that. The full cup. No is the key. Being satisfied, saying no to being satisfied, is the key to flipping the status quo. It's now time to work together to rebuild. I'm going to say it's time to actually start thinking about rebuilding. The rebuilding, bring forward new ideas and networks. It's time to work on the new ideas and networks to rebuild as this current status quo is flipped. There's going to be a passing and the rise of the feminine that will bring abundance for all across the lands with the country. The loyalty will be transformative, and it is now time. Bullseye, absolutely, bullseye. Fill your heart with love. Just seeing what the next couple of cards were. It is time to shine a light on the darkness and flood it with light and love. You've got here a celebration is coming fast to go forward, and it will bring happiness. But there is going to be this passing as we then see the divine of the past is going to be gone. Okay, so a few things to watch out for. That's not even just watching out. That's really, okay, the main thing to watch out for, thank you, is this. Some sort of, no, not going to go ahead. Not going to go ahead with that. And I wonder whether that's why I'm picking up Japan, because I want to have a look. Have a look in a separate reading about Japan. What I'm getting is that there's going to be some sort of international agreement that's going to be overturned, revoked, whatever you like to call it, as part of this change. Okay, I'm going to grab a couple of cards from the Cosmic Guidance deck. I'm just feeling it's already underway. Okay. Because awaken the warrior woman within. Action. Action. Let me have a look. What do we need to know going forward? The ending is so close to this, but just know that it's going to ramp up before it's actually over as they become even more and more desperate, but it just feels incredibly close. I know I've been saying that for a while, but when we look back in the time span, we'll go, man, that happened quick. Instead of taking years, we're talking months and weeks. So, a couple of cards for us about going forward. A couple of cards about going forward. What do we need to know? Feeling really optimistic. What do we need to know going forward? Look what card fell out. Again, action. Awaken the warrior woman within. Weren't those young women incredible on the steps of Congress the other day? The flyovers with the jets are a symbol of the fading. The fading. They couldn't silence the women. They tried with their most aggressive behaviour, and the women would not be silenced. It is time to awaken the warrior woman within. What have we got? Growth. Plant your seeds, put down your roots, decide what you want the future to look like. This is about growing the future that you want. Now look at there's rain here. There's storm clouds. There's rain, but out of storm clouds and rain comes growth. The entire living, breathing, whether it be animal, and at the end of the day, humans are just evolved animals, vegetation, flora, fauna, whatever, relies on seasonal rain, a sun, and 6 inches of topsoil. Without the storm clouds, without the rain, we do not have growth. Diamonds are formed under pressure. Decide what seeds you want to plant for the future going forward. And the lesson: wisdom through mistakes. This is a card about, and I can never remember the name of it, and I love it with the Japanese if they have something really precious, a precious ceramic object, and it breaks, they patch it together with gold. They rebuild it stronger, better, more beautiful than before. And this, it says lesson. And I keep getting, when will this be over? And I keep getting, when the lesson is learned. Heart, emotions, and intuition. So this is very much about taking this time to build your intuition, your knowing, your spiritual love, the light that you shine out from within, fulfilling whatever needs to be filled within. And that comes about by going through grief processes. That comes through letting go of what was in the past that no longer serves you, and embracing the future that is to come, what you have on the table now, what you have to be grateful for. A beautiful sunny day and a toasted sandwich on a front veranda with a beer and the fur babies at your feet. Whatever it is, this is about taking the time to fill your heart, to fill it with light, to fill it with love, to fill it with gratitude, to plant the seeds going forward. Absolutely. About building your connection with spirit, building your connection with your intuition. I got a few comments, a few emails about, really pushing back on the fact that I was picking up AI and body doubles with, trying to believe what my eyes were supposedly showing versus what my intuition knew. Understanding the intuition. Just because the regime is putting out statements, and we know that the orange twerp lies for the sake of lying. He's even lies about stuff that he doesn't need to lie about, and he's been caught out with it. So this is about trusting your intuition, trusting your heart over what may be logical but doesn't sit with you. Manifestation. What you desire is on its way. It's not here yet. It's on its way because you have planted these seeds. You've picked up your warrior woman in whatever form it is, whether you're male or female. And if you can't get out and protest, can you make signs? If you can't make signs, can you look after the neighbours' young children while they go out and attend music festivals, protest. If you can't look after the children, can you cook some extra dinner to give to those for when they come home from being exhausted because they spent 10 hours in the street chanting? What you desire is on its way. The rain, the clouds bring growth, and what is rebuilt is stronger and more beautiful than what was before. Trust your intuition. Know that it is coming. Decide what you want the future to look like. Oh, and how's that for a final card? The Sun. Conscious mind. Conscious mind. It says masculine life force, but this is about joy. This is about revealing. This is about seeing the light. We've got masculine life force, feminine life force together. And the sun, the rain brings growth. Interestingly enough, on the bottom is the head, the logic and the evaluation. This is the energy that we're stewing in at the moment, the logic and evaluation. Whereas this energy is about the heart and intuition. But the underlying here in our energy, the logic, forgiveness, and forgiving will set you free, and trust the power of the universe. So what big cards. If in case you missed what the deck was, it's the Cosmic Guidance Oracle. They are big cards to finish with. So we've got this head. What are we seeing that seems here logical, but here we know doesn't sit right? Trust here. Oh boy. Know that it's going to be okay. Step into your divine energy. Know that this is the process, that this is very much about building back bigger, stronger, better, but to be able to do so, what is needs to be reduced. Know that the orange twerp, don't give him energy. He's simply the catalyst, the flash in the pan. Let me call it what it is, the flash in the pan that triggered what is happening at the moment, the exposure. And once they have shot their wad, and you want to know where that comes from? That comes from the flash in the pan, the flint striking to cause the flash in the pan and shooting the wad out of their gun. They're done. Love to you all. Catch you shortly. This is big picture stuff. Love you. Bye-bye.